Keith Fitz-Gerald of MoneyMorning.com joining me now. He's a chief investment strategist, but he's also Romulus Augustus in his spare time here at Freedom Fest. Keith, thanks for being with us.
Salute.
Wow, you really brushed up on your Latin for the role, right?
I did. I actually worked with experts at Cambridge University to make sure it was precisely grammatically correct for what a retired emperor would have used addressing his people.
Well, the theme here is, are we Rome? So why did you feel it fitting to come out as the last emperor?
Well, I think it was very important because the last emperor of Rome witnessed the ultimate decline of the civilization. And I think there are direct parallels between the decline of Rome and the risks that we're running today with our modern financial system.
Do you really feel that America runs the next risk of becoming the next Rome, though, Keith?
Sure it does. There's no question about it. We're printing endless supplies of money. We have a complete lack of supervision in our central banking community. Our congressional leaders are hoarding power instead of dispersing it for the benefit of the people. We have figured out that our nation is one of entitlements, so it's changed the voting composition radically from those who would improve our nation to those who are least likely to interfere with our handouts. That's a very dangerous transition. Now, the parallel, obviously Rome fell. But I don't believe America is going to fall. I believe that America is a nation filled with clever, resilient, intelligent people. And in fact, we have an opportunity to avoid the failure by making choices today. But those choices are difficult and they're hard. And that's the part that's tough to swallow.
So if we look at money printing as a choice, what do you think needs to happen here?
Well, I think it's very clear. You know, history shows beyond any shadow of a doubt that a strong currency is what creates value, because value engenders hope. And without the two, you cannot have a society that grows. So the failure of the Roman Empire was led in part by a diminishment of the currency, by endless money printing, by a lack of new revenues. Now, one part of that was from stopping the conquering of other lands. But in reality, they taxed the snot out of everybody, and people entered sort of a devil's purgatory. And in the Middle Ages, that would become known as serfdom. That's the transition we're running today, the risks we have.
So Keith, are you bullish on the US dollar?
Yes, very much so. Now, for a reason you might not expect.
Okay.
I'm bullish on the US dollar, not because of all the money printing or the sanctity of the political office. I'm bullish on it because it's the best looking horse in the glue factory.
Okay.
It's the last one on the planet. It's the best of the pigs.
While others are devaluing their currency. There's a rush to devalue currencies, whereas the US is not opting for this.
Well, not yet anyway.
Right.
And I hope we don't get to that. But the point is, at this particular point in time, the one thing that the United States holds sacrosanct over the rest of the world is the fact that that dollar has never, ever defaulted. Ever.
So on that note, what are your thoughts on gold?
Well, I personally like gold very much. I think it's gone in the last 20 years from being an optional part of somebody's portfolio to being an essential part of somebody's portfolio. I think that throughout history, there's certain things that have maintained their value. It's not all about wealth, it's about the preservation of value. And to me, gold is very appealing because it's existed since the dawn of time as a means of enhancing and transferring and protecting value.
So do you see gold as a currency?
That's a very difficult question because you have to define currency. Do I see it as backing currency? Do I see the role as supporting currency, as a role of supporting economy? Unequivocally, yes.
So you would see a return to a gold standard?
I could see that. If not completely, at least partially. And maybe that'd be combined with oil, maybe that'd be combined with silver, with other minerals. But the fact of the matter is, gold is an absolutely essential part of any investor's portfolio today.
And I know people hate answering this question, but where do you see gold headed if you had to choose a trading range?
Oh boy, I knew you were going to do that. I think we're going to see a little rise in gold based on the Middle East right now. I think that's going to bring a lot of people off the sidelines, say, oh my gosh, I've got to buy it. But reality is, I think we're due for a little bit of a correction. I'm looking for gold to be, I'm looking to be a very anxious and hungry buyer between $1,000 and $1,100 an ounce. But if you've got a long-term perspective, I don't think you can go wrong accumulating gold along the way. So everybody says, is it an on-off or a buy or a sell decision?
Right.
To me, that's not the decision. The decision is how do you accumulate it and how do you use it in proportion to the rest of your portfolio.
Okay, what other investments are you liking these days?
Right now, I'm very keen on energy. It's been beaten to snot. The illusion is that global growth is slowing, that this is terrible, oh my goodness, energy is going to go the way of the dodo. It's not. The world is shifting from what we must have to what we've got to have. It's not going anywhere. You have to have energy to run. And everybody says, well, there's alternative energy, there's nuclear, there's this, there's that. Well, you know what? There's 60,000 processes that depend on oil. Even if we have a perfect substitute for that today, it's going to take years. The best, even most aggressive scientists say it's going to take decades to make that shift. To me, that makes oil even more valuable.
Keith, final thoughts for investors watching. What's your survival guide in these times?
Be very cautious. Stay on your game plan. Don't let Bernanke and his minions persuade you, because if you've got your goals and you understand what they are, then you're going to be fine. But if you start reacting and jumping up and down based on what they're telling you, God help you.
All right, Keith, lead us out in Latin, please.
Oh, grazie.
And thanks for watching this edition of Kitco News. You can email us at newsfeedback@kitco.com or follow this conversation on Twitter at Daniela Camboni. Thanks for watching.